Good morning and happy Saturday. My name's Michelle. I'm with Olive and 2U Studios. I'm here typically every Saturday morning at 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time. And if you haven't already done so, I definitely invite you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up as this episode goes along. Let us know if you like the content. Let us know if you don't. Like if you want to see something else, let me know. In fact, a little later, I might talk a little bit about that because I've been getting some comments about some things that people might like to see. I see some of our Yarna U's here live this morning, so welcome to you. Katrin's here, Tish is here, Jamie's here, Loriana's here, Terry's here, Valera's here, Lonnie's here. People are piling in, but if you happen to be watching later, welcome to you as well. There's plenty here to keep everybody interested and involved. I hope you guys are doing really well. I have to tell you again, I keep talking about this. The weather in Maine is like we're getting into winter weather. I had a conversation with Jim yesterday, my husband, about that. And I said, when does winter officially start? And he said, well, not till like mid-December. And I was like, that's weird because it's already getting colder. And he explained to me something that I wasn't aware of. You guys probably are. Winter, all of the seasonal designations are not based upon weather changes so much as they're based upon things happening with the stars and in the universe. I wasn't aware of that. I probably should have been, but that makes more sense to me. So we're not actually going to get to winter until later in December, but the weather here is definitely turning towards more of what I think of winter weather. We had an autumn that I think lasted all of 2 weeks. The color changes of the leaves, and we got to see those beautiful golden orange colors on the leaves, and it was absolutely stunning. And then very quickly they started to fall because we had some heavy rains, and the rains made the trees drop their leaves. There are some higher elevations that you can still see leaves on the trees when we're driving along. But for the most part, now in the woods that surround our house and the area that we live, we can see straight through the woods down to the lake and to other things on the other side of the woods. Whereas before, we couldn't see clear through it because there were green leaves or even fall leaves on the trees. So it's a really interesting transformation to get to witness, especially for this Florida girl who really didn't get to live through too many seasonal changes. I went to college in Indiana. We did have some seasons there, but very often I was headed home. So like for Thanksgiving and Christmas and those seasons, I was headed home for breaks and didn't really get to participate in the full seasonal transition. So I've really been enjoying this. One of the ways I've been enjoying it, of course, is wearing all the knits, right? So the hand knits, the knits that I've purchased as well from other places. I love, love, love my sweaters from Ardalanish and the Iona Craft Shop. I've really been getting into that sort of sheepy wool that before I loved purchasing them, but I didn't have much of an opportunity to wear them, which I really lamented, but I enjoyed just having them, right? Sometimes you just want to have things, whether or not you can use them in the traditional sense. But now I'm getting to actually wear them and use them. And I love them so much, especially intermixed with my hand knits with yarn from Olive and 2U. So it's been a lot of fun to be able to wear all the things. I mean, this morning I'm wearing a turtleneck sweater. This is not like t-shirt knit material. This is a cashmere turtleneck sweater under my Raquel that I hand knit from Olive and 2U yarn. You might can tell it's a little tweedy. It's got some tweedy bits in it, which I love so much. Just realizing though, I need to reblock it. This neck is a little, it's a little floppy this morning. But layers are a really good thing, I'm learning. In fact, this is probably TMI, but every evening after I put my PJs on, I'm wearing merino leggings, right? Tight merino leggings. I'm wearing a merino undershirt, and then I'm wearing flannel PJ pants over my merino leggings, and then a fleece top from LL Bean typically. That's my loungewear in the evening because it helps to keep me warm and cozy. But I love the weather so far. I was speaking to someone that I used to work with and haven't worked with, gosh, it's been a lot of years since I worked with him, and he was interested to find out that we had moved to Maine. And he said, "So how do you like it?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, we love it so far. Like I drive around and I'm so grateful that we live here." And he said, "How many winters have you lived through?" Mm, yeah, 0. I'll let you know after winter, but I think I'm gonna love it. We've mentioned before that we visited a lot during winter. Last year, even getting down to let's see, at one point we were here and it was -17. So it was 17 degrees below 0 Fahrenheit, and I was okay. I still really enjoyed it. So, um, we'll see how that goes, but so far it's lovely. But I have not forgotten my Florida people because you all still need to be knitting and crocheting all the things because I know that you've had some major cold snaps lately as well. And air conditioning gets chilly. I used to have that problem all the time in restaurants and that sort of thing. So, no matter where you live, there is definitely a good argument to be made for hand knits. Can we all agree on that? I think we can all agree on that. So, I'm going to talk a little bit more later about life in Maine and the things that I've been up to because I'm going to do a little foreshadowing here. That has been some of the feedback that I've gotten that I want to throw out to you all this morning. But before we get into that, I just want to mention we've got a WIPS segment today. Our Sankaku knit along goes along, so I'm going to be talking about that. So there's definitely more to get to today, but I want to show you this colorway that's brand new today. It is already flying out of the shop. So if you have not already gotten your order in, now is the time to do it. And if you happen to pick up on last week's new colorway of pecan, let's see, I always have to look at this, pecan or pecan, right? This beautiful blue that incidentally is very similar, not blue, brown, a B word, incidentally is very similar to this colorway that I'm wearing, very close. It's a cool brown. This was the colorway from last week. This week's colorway gives you all the warm, cozy, huggy feelings, and it matches perfectly with last week's. This is Cabin Cocoa. Look at that beautiful, variegated colorway there. Now, I'm going to tell you, this is a little unexpected because I did not expect to see some of the colors in here that are in here. And I'm going to show them to you a little closer up in a moment. But I love that unexpected piece. And as I mentioned, it goes perfectly with this. So I'll compare those again in just a moment. Let me open this up for you. You have the cool brown tones that make it work beautifully with, I gotta look at it again, pecan or pecan. Sherry and Terry are going to learn not to mess me up with colorway names. It's my own fault. It's not their fault. I love their clever names. So it has all these beautiful browns in it that make it coordinate perfectly with last week's color. But what I didn't expect, and I absolutely adore peeking out from it, are these gorgeous cranberry tones in it. Look at that, like just in time for Thanksgiving. Look at those cranberry tones. They are some speckles that show up and they just peek out to give you that unexpected little splash of color that you needed. You know, one of the ways that you can really make projects pop with color is use a good sort of, how do I say, tried and true combination of colors, but add a splash of something unexpected. And very often visually, it really grabs your attention and makes your combinations pop. And they've definitely done that here with this beautiful cranberry that pops right out there. I love it so much. So let me try to twist it up a little bit. You know, this is always a test on camera about me twisting up these hanks. Let's see if I can make it happen here. Sort of. And enough to at least show them to you again. I don't want to untwist them both. That's not too bad. She did all right. I've got a straggler hanging out there, but that's all right. Not too badly. Let me take the cuff off of last week's colorway. Perfect together. Now, this would be really subtle if you wanted to do like a colorwork sweater. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're really into low contrast, but you could do so many different things with this, especially a fade. Papa Bear is another brown in the shop that is a warmer brown and would look really interesting, the transition between Papa Bear, pecan or pecan, and then into Cabin Cocoa. That would be a really interesting fade that would be beautiful. I've mentioned for the last year or so, I think I'm into my neutral era as it was. I'm loving all the neutrals. And so I was super, super excited to see these colors come up. So do not delay. Go ahead and grab these right away. They're perfect for fall, perfect going into winter. And I've got last week's colorway. Yeah, I've got like somewhere between 7 and 10 hanks on order for me on Shelly, which is our worsted weight, because I have plans for that. And then I ordered a hank of Bronte and a hank of, I think, Homer on it, because I've got another project I want to do that holds DK and a lace weight together. So I'm really looking forward to that. So I am leaning into all the neutrals and all the browns right now. And I kind of think you should too. I think they're really good colors to lean into, perfect for all the things. So that is new this week. And again, I often mention 2 devices is great on Saturday mornings. Grab your device, get your order in, and we'll get that fulfilled right away. If we run out, we'll see what we can do. If you need a special order, absolutely. And speaking of special orders, some of you have been placing those special orders for previous colorways, and you can absolutely do that. If there is a colorway, say in the shop, or a non-vintage Olive and To You colorway that you love, all you need to do is email us and let us know, and we'll set up a special order for you of 3 or more hanks. We can absolutely do that. So if you're wanting something that's on a different base maybe, or you need more hanks for like a sweater quantity, we can take care of that for you. All you need to do is give us an email and let us know that, or message me that. Kim says, need a cranberry color to go with that color. There you go. There you go. Perfect. So that would be a great idea, because that would be beautiful, wouldn't it? I'll have to look in the shop and see if we have anything that kind of meets that, Kim. Beautiful, beautiful colorways. All right. The Sankaku knit along continues. Yes. And it's been so much fun seeing your progress. Some of you have actually completed at least one Sankaku, and some of you are well on your way to your second, I do believe. So we're going to get to whips in just a few minutes. But the Sankaku knit along is continuing. You might remember the pattern that I have shown before. 2 yarns. We've been using Poppy along with a smooth yarn for that additional texture twist to it. Poppy is a yarn dyed by Maria of the former Fat Bunny yarn, and it is so much fun. It's a slub yarn. Kits are down below right now. You can still snag kits or go on the website. It's never too late to start. If you weren't certain about starting it and now you're thinking, kind of enjoying watching everyone knitting theirs up, I want to get in on the fun, you can still do it. Kits are below. You can absolutely use stash. The only thing that you need to do to be prize eligible is use Olive and To You yarn, and it can be stash yarn or brand new yarn that you order out of the shop. So it's easy peasy. The grand prize will be a $75 gift card to the Olive and To You shop. That's nothing to sneeze at. That's a fun prize. So, and it's just a lot of fun to do. Now, Mary Nielsen and I have teamed up, and we put together 3 videos that are basically just sort of commentary and support through the Sankaku pattern. It's not meant to be a tutorial, and we've got 3 of those. The first 2 have already been posted. Week 2 was actually posted last night, so if you haven't seen it yet, the link is down below here in the show notes, or there is a playlist right here on the channel, so you can take a look at that video. I'll tell you a funny story. If you watch that video clear through the end, and you should, of course, because Mary especially has some fantastic tips and tricks along the way, especially for casting on and some other things. But if you watch that video to the end, we had a little technological snag when we were filming it. I happened to touch my mouse, which shouldn't be a problem, and somehow the scroll feature scrolled me right out of the video stream. So suddenly she was there by herself, and we had already pretty much concluded the bulk of the conversation. So the week 2 video ends a little prematurely. So it's kind of a chuckle to watch it. I was mortified, but technology being what it is, and we didn't have a chance to re-record the whole thing, but you definitely get some great information in the week 2 video. Week 3 will be posted later this week, probably Friday evening, just like this last one. And then you'll have all 3 of the videos to kind of help you get through the Sankaku. So it's a super fun pattern. And I know that my friends in Florida, I've heard several folks say that they're looking forward to using it specifically for the air conditioning, like I talked about earlier. One of the reasons that we love this pattern so much, let me fold it so you can see it a little bit better, because it kind of has a shawl shape. I really should print that in color. It kind of has a shawl shape. It's kind of a hybrid between a shawl and a KAL, but it is connected at one point. You connect it in the round, and so it's not going to fall off your shoulders. I love that, because one of the things that's always been difficult for me wearing shawls is making sure that they're adequately secured so they don't go sliding down. I have slopey shoulders. Like, my shoulders are not like, you know, are not sharp. They're very slopey. And for as sort of a large of a woman as I am, my shoulders are pretty narrow. So shawls, unless I secure them with a nice shawl pin or something, have a tendency to slide and sort of migrate around my body, if you will. But the Sankaku is not going to do that. So we're continuing on with the Sankaku knit along. And as I said before, plenty of time to get in on that. So really quickly, since we're talking about that, why don't we take a look at some whips? I know lately I had not done a whip segment because of lots of reasons, but I wanted to get back to whips so we could take a look and see what you've been stitching up. All right, let's take a look. The first item is not a Sankaku. Nancy Victorino is the designer behind the Highland hat. She designed this pattern specifically for our travelers that went to Scotland with us this last September into October. And this was one that she knit up using Atwood in the Grazier colorway, again dyed by the fabulous Terry and Sherry. So Nancy was showing that off. The link to that pattern is down below in the show notes if you're interested in it. Tracy Ann is still working on her BBT, her beautifully basic tee. She travels all over the country for her job. So she posts pretty much daily where she is and what she's stitching. So I love those posts so much. Lonnie Holt, she was working on the Little Boneyard Sweethearts sweater, and she knit it up so fast. When I was looking at the pattern, I realized it is a child pattern, but still, well done, Lonnie. You got that done like in record time, and it looks so good. It's so perfect for the spooky season. Next up, Cynthia Titus. I think this might be a beautifully basic tee. And she said it was off the needles. This was about a week ago. At that point, she still needed to weave in the ends and block it, but I love those colors. It looks great. Next up, Lonnie was working on her Wishing Star Shawl by Helen Stewart, and she's got her two little knitting buddies. We see Steele a lot in her photos, and then Tazzy, and she was using a vintage Olive and Tuya yarn. I love the pictures of the fur babies helping us with our knitting. Next up, Maria Klein. She was working on her Yoon sweater. This is actually her second one. I think I called that pattern out as a different sweater the last time or a couple podcasts ago, but it is her Yoon by November Knits. And she was using Olive and Tuya Dickinson Play-Doh in the colorway Slate. So I know she's anxious to get that done. The Yoon is a fantastic pattern. And again, those patterns are found right below the links are. Kim Jackson, she started on her Sankaku. She's going to be making one for fall and one for spring, which I think is so genius. Super smart way to do it. And I like that she posted her cast on and the colors that she's using for both of those. All right, Judy Conk's been going like a house of fire with those Highland hats. She says all her grandchildren, she's making them for all of her grandchildren. Oh, wait, hold on a second. I was wrong. She completed the ones for her grandchildren. So that's the 5 of them there, I think. And she's got 2 more to go for significant others. So she's been doing all the Highland hats. I bet she's got that pattern almost memorized by now. Well done, Judy. Next up, Katrin was getting ready to cast on her Sankaku about a day or so ago. So maybe she's cast on now. I love her color choices there. Julie Garland finished her first Sankaku. Look at that. About 3 days ago, she was getting ready to give it its spa day, its little bath, and it's beautiful. All the color combinations are so much fun to see, I think. And I love that mosaic knitting and that marled look at the top of the design. I just think it's such a fun design. Lydia Biram, she finished up her scrappy yoke sweater. She used leftovers and one-of-a-kind skeins and all of that, and then she plans to go ahead and finish up her scrappy blanket. So I like the efficiency of using up what you have. That is such a great idea, and that way you don't have all those around. There's so many scrappy patterns right on Ravelry. If you just, look up search the term scrappy or scrap patterns, tons come up. Just like if you want to search mini patterns, you'll get a ton of patterns. There is no shortage of patterns out there to use the yarn that we have treated ourselves with. And then Mary Nielsen, this is her second Sankaku. She's using Skeens Ridge on Twain and Poppy. I think it's Blue Jean Baby, possibly, on Poppy. And she was loving that colorway so much. I do too. It's always so much fun to see sort of the colorways and the selections that people are using, because sometimes, let's face it, people use color combinations that maybe I didn't think of, or maybe you wouldn't think of, but when you see it visually, you realize how much you like it, and then it kind of helps to spur on future thoughts about yarns to use. And speaking of yarn, we've been joking a lot, both here on the podcast, in the Yarn to Use, and on some back channels between us, about that phrase, treat yourself. Because when my friend Jennifer was here, she and I were doing a little shopping, and we'd be like, oh, treat yourself. Oh, I really shouldn't get this. It's too, treat yourself. So we kind of chuckled about that. And then I decided this week to do a little bit of a deep dive into the psychology behind treating yourself. I mean, we all know that if you purchase a little gift for yourself, you get a little boost, right? Sometimes we do that if we're feeling a little bit down or something like that. But there is real sort of research behind that, that when you sort of give yourself a little pressy, a little gift, that you do actually release some serotonin and dopamine, which are the feel-good hormones. And as we slide into the holiday season, that is a more difficult time for some people. And you don't want to go overboard with the treating yourself, right? You don't want to like end up in the poorhouse or bankrupt from treating yourself so much. But within reason, it's a nice way to give yourself like a chemical boost. So it's such a great idea and a great thing to do. So I encourage you to treat yourself, not just because I own a shop, but because as we all are trying to, keep our mood up and all of that, especially sliding into the holidays, it's a great way to do that. I think it's a lot of fun. And so I do encourage you to treat yourself. I think it's important. One of the ways that I've been treating myself lately, I mentioned I was going to talk about this a little bit, is I do that through some retail therapy, and then I do that through some kitchen therapy. So I want to talk about the retail therapy first, because I purchased something this past week from Perry Home Naturals, which is a Maine woman-owned business. It's out of Oxford, Maine, which is about a half hour from me. And I've met Kim, and she's awesome. In fact, we've been talking about some collaborations. And I just want you to see how beautiful this packaging is on this little gift box. I'm trying to get my chocolate straight there. She even included chocolate. How cute is that? I love this little gift box. She makes the most amazing sachets and fragrance sprays for the home, eye pillows, all kinds of other neat things. And I love that the sachets smell of balsam fir or lavender. There's so many uses for them. Look at this gorgeous applique there. How beautiful is that? So I just wanted to mention that. Actually, I've put her shop link down below, and you can learn everything about her. If you click the About button, you can learn kind of about her history. She used to be an English teacher, but she does amazing, beautiful work. And we're going to be finding out more about Perry Home Naturals because we've got some upcoming collaborations, and she is the collaborator behind the box that's coming to you soon, with Maine-inspired yarn and all kinds of goodies. And they smell so, so, so good. Wonderful. So Renee says that she's trying to treat herself to one of the tours to Scotland. Everything sells out so fast. That's true. If you want to stay tuned, Renee, I'm going to be getting some information soon about our next trip to Scotland. And so this will be our fourth trip that we've done, fourth tour that we've organized. So stay tuned and there'll be more coming. So absolutely. So Perry Home Naturals, a little foreshadowing here. You're going to see more about the wonderful work that Kim does over there and the beautiful things that she makes and how wonderful they smell. Tish says that she's a sucker for anything balsam, and me too. I love it so much. It smells so, so good. Wonderful things happening there. All right. So the other way I've been treating myself, you all know that I've been sneaking in little bits and bobs about the things that I've been cooking and the things that have been happening in the kitchen. Since we moved to Maine, I've been on sort of this steady quest, if you will, to try to make more of our food, to eat cleaner, to eat more locally, and to just try to be healthier as a whole. And I think we've done pretty well. So as of right now, I'm baking all of our bread. I make all of our granola. We make all of our own yogurt. Doing a lot of things from scratch. When Jennifer was here, I was making cinnamon rolls. My newest thing is making oatmeal, which is interesting because I was never a fan of oatmeal growing up. And even when I was in college in Indiana and the weather was cold, I didn't like it. I found it to be slimy and just not appetizing at all. But I have been practicing doing some fun things in the kitchen with oatmeal that are a little different, I think, than the usual way to make it. Let's just say it ain't your grandma's oatmeal. And I've had some conversations with some Yarny youths behind the scenes. They've, contacted me for various reasons and have said, you're cooking a lot. And a couple of them have said, I really wish that you would do some videos in the kitchen and show us some of the things that you've been cooking. Now, that's not directly related to yarn, and I get that, but it is related to being cozy, right? And yarn is kind of cozy. So I'm curious, let me know in the comments or send me an email if you would be interested in some videos like that. I could create a whole separate playlist on the channel perhaps and share some things, some recipes that I've developed and some things along those lines. So let me know, not directly related to yarn, but again, it is creating. It's all things creative. And I think there might be a place for it given the questions that I've been getting. So for example, this morning for Gemini, I made us an almond croissant oatmeal. And it was really interesting and very different the way I did it. And it was really good. It was almost like dessert in a bowl, but it was healthy. It was really healthy. It had flax, it had chia, it had all those kinds of things. So yeah, just kind of, it'll be interesting. So I'm seeing some positive things here. So let me know, continue to let me know. I'll be honest, I feel a little awkward about it. And I need to work on my setup in the kitchen. I kind of played with it a little bit this past week. And, typically I'm reasonably decent with recording technology. And I realized I forgot to play. I hit the play button when I had the camera down on top of it. So I have to start all over again and redo my setup and get a better mic, I think. But I thought it would be a lot of fun to play with, and I'm seeing some positive things. I don't know. Tish says oatmeal is only for cookies or in a binder and meatloaf. Okay. I am taking that as a personal challenge to get you to try something different. Tish, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, she wants to know where I got my bib overalls. I got those from Torrid, I think, which is a company I've never purchased from before. But they were inexpensive and I didn't want to pay a ton for them because I didn't know if I would like them. In the end, it turned out that I loved them because they were super, super comfortable. So anyway, stay tuned. You might see some cooking videos here just because it's fun to do. It's something that I've been spending some time on in addition to knitting. And I think it would be kind of interesting and fun. Who knows? Maybe Sherry and Terry will dye us up a colorway based on some oatmeal or a fun cooking colorway. You never know what could happen. Speaking of knitting, I am still knitting my beautifully basic tee. I started another one as soon as I finished the last one. and it is right here. And I've made a fair amount of progress since I've separated for the sleeves. This is in buttered toffee, and I love this colorway. Again, it's kind of that neutrally. Oh my gosh, look at buttered toffee with the brown from last week. Beautiful is that? That looks great. Okay, but for now, I'm doing a solid one, and there it is. The link is down below to the pattern, and I'm just knitting along because it's a lot of fun to do. So, and I've been kind of a naughty girl. I'm going to confess. I'm going to get in trouble. I have not cast on my Sankaku yet. I was going to do it last week, but I was so enthralled with the progress I was making on my BBT. So I am going to hold my feet to the fire this week to get my Sankaku cast on because I really, really, really want to have a Sankaku. My Korean poncho, I actually gave away. Michelle did gift knitting? No, Michelle knit herself something and then she gave it away because somebody loved it and I wanted to give it to her. So I don't have a Korean poncho anymore. I'm going to have to knit another one of those as well. So let me just tell you something. My queue right now is bursting at the seams with all the things to knit. I am like in high creative mode. Part of the way that creativity is coming out is I've been a little quiet, not as active in the Yarn to Use because I have been really deep in planning for next year for Olive and 2U Studios. And there's going to be some shifts and some interesting things happening next year, some different kind of directions that I'm going to take things that I think you're going to really love. But it's taken some time and I'm still in the middle of it. It's not completed yet for planning for all of next year. And I'm very excited about the future and where things are happening, but it's definitely taking some fun time to get things planned. Working on some retreat ideas, some locations for retreats, some trips, yarn, of course, knit alongs, all the things, collaborations, and all sorts of fun things happening. So there's all kinds of stuff on the horizon, but that stuff takes a little time to plan. And so I haven't been quite as vocal in the Yarn to Use lately, but I'm still here. I'm still there, still doing all the things. So don't think that I have faded away because there's all kinds of fun stuff happening. Speaking of fun stuff happening, and Monica has been busy as a bee as well. There are two great patterns available this week in the newsletter for gift knitting. One is a crochet pattern that I am smitten with, and the other is a really beautiful little very small project called the Petal Necklace. That's a knit project. The crochet project, I don't remember the name of it. The link is down below though for the pattern. And it is a really cool KAL that's a crochet project that again is small, is manageable, and would make a fantastic gift knitting project. So I really encourage you, if you haven't already subscribed to the newsletter, you can do that just by going over to our website. A pop-up should come up. And be sure to check out your newsletter every week because that's where all of the good things are. Yes, Tara, a crochet project. And it's one of those projects that has me going, okay, I need to revisit my crochet skills because I really, really like it. It is actually a KAL and it's connected. So it's, again, one of those things that I love because it's not going to come off the body. And I think that's a really good thing. And it would be a fantastically quick Christmas project. So definitely check that out. So 2 pattern links in the newsletter this week for things to take a look at for maybe some gift knitting for yourself or for someone else. Treat yourself. Always treat yourself. And then, of course, our gift shop is restocked yet again. Monica's been keeping up with that. You never know what cute little things you'll find in the gift shop. It's one link, and then there's a drop down for multiple items in there. There's notions, there's enamel pens, there's all kinds of cute little things in there. Again, it's a great way to treat yourself or a fiber friend or fiber bestie. So check out the gift shop. I know a lot of people have been taking advantage of that. Things that maybe have been in the shop or that we haven't actually had on the website for several months, or maybe things that were included previously long ago in a subscription box, but we had a couple extra left over. So all the things there. All kinds of fun stuff happening. So check out the links in the newsletter, and then you can always look back at past podcast episodes. Be sure to check out the Sankaku support videos as well. Mary is actually on vacation right now in Europe, but we got those recorded beforehand. In fact, you'll know we did because we didn't go through costume changes. They are 3 videos and we're wearing the same outfit for all 3. We recorded them all in one day. I'm just giving you a sneak peek what happens behind the scenes because sometimes that's the way it has to be, right? You do things as efficiently as possible. You all, I am so grateful for you. I'm so grateful that the Yarn Use show up both here and in the Yarn Use Facebook group. If you haven't joined there, I really encourage you to do it. There's no drama, no politics, loads of fun, loads of support. And always, this community is warm and inviting and just a great place to be. And I'm so, so grateful for all of you and the warmth that you've given me and the friendship and the support. It's a woman-owned business, small business. Now is a hard time for small businesses. Lots of yarn dyers are actually going out of business right now, I've been noticing, which makes me really sad. So the fact that you're here, you're purchasing, helps to keep us doing what we do with the trips and the products and the knit-alongs and all the fun. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. All right, everybody. I hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks so much for being here. Again, I'm Michelle with Olive and 2U Studios. And thank you for being here. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you in the Yarn Use. Take care. Bye.